So what's up, YouTube? This episode started really crazy today. I'm getting to this review kind of late. I've been working my butt off, and I just really haven't had the time to post any videos. So I just now watched it on my DVR. This was a really good episode. First, at the beginning, we see May training Sky. It doesn't really go anywhere, but it was a nice little choreographed, part of the episode. Even though we know that her ability, Sky's abilities, far surpasses, martial arts. But anyway, we see Sif, Lady Sif. She was a guest in this episode, and we see her just walking out of the ocean, like literally just walking out of the ocean, up to these people on a beach. And a guy tries to talk to her, and she smacks him like 30 yards away, something like that. But she's lost her memory, like, so we don't really know what's going on. She doesn't know who she is. She knows she's from Asgard. And then this video surfaces once she comes up with Shield. Once she finds Shield, this video surfaces of her fighting this, what we later find out is a Kree warrior named Ventak. And it's the Kree warrior that made her lose her memory, and he ends up throwing her into the ocean. Come to find out, the Kree warrior isn't so much a villain, as much as he is somebody who is on Earth looking for what caused the Terrigen mist. Because I guess at the end of episode 10, when we see the Terrigen mist, which is that mist that causes the Inhumans to become inhuman, it alters their DNA. It must have sent out some sort of signal. He picked up the signal, the Kree, and he came to Earth. And because he came to Earth, Lady Sif was sent to Earth to stop him, because Heimdall in Asgard saw this, and the Kree are not supposed to be on Earth. So they eventually track him down, and he's carrying this container out of a cave, and Shield sort of ambushes him with the container. And the container he has is supposed to hold, I think, about 7 of those diviners. It's those silver, they were calling them obelisks at first, but it's those silver obelisks that you need to activate the Terrigen mist. So before he gets the chance to open it, to see how many are in there, because we know one of the obelisks are gone, but he was hoping the other 6 would still be in there, because when they sort of take him back to this containment area, Lady Sif gets her memory back, and we find out that, why she was sent there, and she tells the whole story. But then the Kree Ventak tells them the tale of Terrigenesis. And this is the first time, this is really important, because this is the first time we start to get some backstory on who the Inhumans are, who are really being pushed in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. now. And you got to think, the Inhumans movie is like, that's not until 2019. So they're really building up these characters years in advance, and I love that. So he tells Shield, and of course Lady Sif already knows this, but he tells Shield the tale of Terrigenesis, which is when the ancient Kree descended on Earth and other planets as well to alter the DNA of native populations to create an army, because they were fighting a war. I'm not sure if it's the Kree Skrull War, or no, well, not the Skrulls, but the Chitauri. I don't know if it's that war they're referring to, or just another war in general, but the war was taking a toll on them, and they were losing a lot of soldiers. It was a high casualty war, which is, you would think an intergalactic war would be high casualty, but so they altered native DNA on all of these other planets. It failed everywhere except for Earth, and they created this vicious faction within the Kree army. Lady Sif called them Kree slave warriors. And basically they had to put down their warriors, that faction on Earth, because, he tells them about how the Kree warriors created that underground cave that we saw at the beginning of towards the end of the first half of the season, that changed Raina's and Sky's DNA. The Inhumans created that like millennia ago. And so the Kree warriors had to put them down, but they thought they put them all down. They obviously didn't. And the Kree warriors, the slave warriors, the Inhumans, they had the diviners with them. They had the obelisk with them. And what I think happened is, before they were all destroyed by the Kree, before they were all killed by the Kree, a few of them got away. And that DNA, that lineage, lived on within the human population till today, which is why you have Sky and Raina and all these other people who have that DNA. They didn't really eradicate all of them. So the Kree warrior and Lady Sif actually, or see, before I get to that, Sky is listening to all of this while this Kree warrior Ventak is telling them this. And because she's getting nervous, her her abilities start to expose themselves. And everybody's like, Sky, what's going on here? Because this has happened like a couple times now already, and it's always when she's around. They realize that she's Inhuman, that, you know, she's been hiding it from everybody else, including Fitz. You know, it comes out that Fitz has been hiding it. He hid her DNA, switched. I talked about that in the last video, where he, you know, was trying to hide the fact that her DNA had been altered. And all of that comes out, and so Lady Sif and this Kree go on this chase to get Sky, and, you know, they end up fighting. I mean, to make a long story short, the Kree was knocked out by Bobby, and I'm gonna get to her in a second, because her and Mac have something going on. So the Kree warrior actually ends up losing his memory because Bobby uses he has this little mini hammer that he uses to wipe people's memories, and she uses that to wipe his memory. So Coulson convinces Lady Sif that, hey, you know, we're all allies, we're all on the same side, let us deal with Sky. And Lady Sif doesn't like that. Lady Sif thinks she's dangerous. She was like, she's just destroying windows now. She's just, you know, causing quakes, local quakes now. You know, soon it can be buildings. Soon it can be entire continents that she's causing to have these earthquakes. So she wants to take her back to Asgard, but Coulson wouldn't have it. And since she doesn't want to break their trust and break their friendship, she kind of just agrees, and she takes that Kree warrior with her, calls Heimdall, and Heimdall, you know, beams her up basically back to Asgard, and she says she's going to take the Kree back to his home world, and he's not going to remember anything that had happened. So that's sort of how that ends. That's the end of the episode, but well, that's the end of that part of the episode. But and I wish they need to have her back more. I think the episodes that she's been in, both have been very good. I'd like to see more of Lady Sif. But then there's this other subplot going on with Mac and Bobby. They clearly have a different agenda. What that agenda is right now, we don't know. They're definitely working for somebody else. Mac makes some sort of mention about bringing the team down or something like that. They're planning something, but I honestly think Mockingbird may be playing him, because if we know anything about her, she's great as a double agent. She's great as an infiltrator. So she could just be playing him to see who he really works for. Well, she maybe knows who he really works for, but there's something going on. There's a reason why she's not exposing him yet, or maybe she is in on it. We don't know. But who they're working for, what's going on between them two, is not really known yet. But Mac chokes out Lance at the end of the episode, and that's how that episode ended. So stay tuned. This show is really good. I like the pacing now, and every show so far since the mid-season break has been over has been good, even though it's only been 2 episodes. I don't expect anything to get slow from here on out, especially with not Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., especially with Avengers 2 coming around the corner in a couple months. So stay tuned, and you'll be hearing from GJ Chill pretty soon.